Wednesday of Holy Week. I hope that you all have been able to have a thoughtful and reflective Holy Week thus far. I wanted to take a minute just to really talk about the hard work that I've been putting into my relationship with Carla and Peter. If you'll notice, Carla and I are basically best girlfriends now. I'm sitting so close to her. Peter is right to my right, keeping a watchful eye, but still not attacking me. So I consider that huge progress over these past few weeks. And I'm so glad that you guys have been alongside me documenting this hard work in relationships that happens. Today, we're going to share about the story of Mary anointing Jesus. This is a story that's told in each of the Gospels, and each telling is a little bit different, but I thought today we would look in the Gospel of John at how he chooses to tell this really beautiful story. And this happens right around Passover when Jesus had come to a home in Bethany. And this is John chapter 12. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, the home of Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. And there they gave a dinner for him. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those at the table with him. Mary took a pound of costly perfume made of pure nard, anointed Jesus' feet, and wiped them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii? And the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept the common purse and used to steal what was put into it. And Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You will always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." I've always considered this to be kind of a strange passage, and every year when I read it, I feel like something different comes out of it for me. The other Gospels don't name the woman that anoints Jesus, but John does, and he names her Mary, the sister of Martha and Lazarus, who Jesus had just raised from the dead. And in this telling, I don't know if Mary knew something that the disciples didn't know. I don't know if Jesus had given her some kind of heads up, or if even Jesus had asked her to do what she did. But I do believe, with everything that I have, that Mary knew that Jesus was about to die. And I believe that she also believed him to be the Messiah, and that she chose to take this really extravagant gift. That anointing was only really used for the coronation of a king or for the burial of the dead. And I think for Mary, she was doing this for both of those reasons. And she took it and she poured it out in front of everybody and had this really intimate moment with Jesus where she just adorned him and really showed love in an extravagant way. So much so that it made everybody else in there very, very uncomfortable. That generous spirit that she had really got up on Judas, and he started challenging what she was doing and telling Jesus that he needed to stop it. And Jesus wasn't going to have any of that kind of talk and refusal. He wanted to sit, and he wanted to appreciate the blessing that Mary was offering him. I don't know who of you have ever had that kind of holy moment where someone that you knew and someone that you loved was dying, and you had that opportunity to say the words that you felt needed to be said to ensure that they heard that. And I don't know if you've ever sat in the presence of someone else sharing that sort of deathbed confession of love for another person. It's very intimate, and it can be very uncomfortable for those who are sitting there and watching. But there's something about knowing that the person that you love is about to die. And we are humans that cling to life. We are tooth and nail, and we like to find comfort in denying the fact that death is coming. And we'll put it off, and we'll put it off, and we'll put it off until our loved one ends up dying, and we never took that opportunity to say the words that we needed to say to them. But Mary did it. Mary knew that her friend was about to die. She knew that this was potentially the last time that she would be able to be with him. And she chose to do something that made everybody else uncomfortable. But she knew that it would bless her Lord. And I think that if you could put words to her action, you would hear words of gratitude. Jesus, thank you so much for seeing me in a way the world refused to see me. Your presence in my life changed who I am and who I see myself to be. Jesus, you have done things for my family that no other person would ever do. And God, you have taught me so much. I can not go back to the way that life used to be before you. And I'm so thankful for your presence in my life. I wonder today if we knew that we are in the midst of a loved one's last moments, what those words would be. And I guess I wonder what keeps us from going ahead and saying it. Saying what we appreciate about them. Saying how they have changed us as a people. Telling them all of the things that they have taught us. These sorts of messages shouldn't be saved for a deathbed. These sorts of messages of gratitude and thankfulness should be offered up every day that we have the opportunity to be with another person. So I guess today what I'm telling you, Pleasant Hill, is that, man, I appreciate how you have walked alongside me since I was 11 years old. I appreciate the way that people of Pleasant Hill have prayed for me even when I didn't want their prayers. I've appreciated the way that my church family has seen in me something that it took me a long time to see in myself. And I appreciate the way that you have embraced my call, my voice, my leadership, and my visions. I would not be the person I am today if it was not for my church family. So I'm thankful. I challenge you this week to share similar messages of appreciation and love with those around you. There are times like this where you can't be face to face, but we are blessed with the technology and the ways of communicating love and appreciation in really creative ways. I miss you guys. And I know pretty soon, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, we will get to be back together worshiping as a family. But until then, know that you are loved, and that you are appreciated, and that your presence in my life matters. Amen.